Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Great to have you here today on this brand new week of the Cabral Concept. We're here today with our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Today's going to be a fun one because we actually get to talk about becoming addicted to healthy habits. So today's going to be the 7 healthy habits to become addicted to this year. I think sometimes when we think about addicted, we're always trying to think about all the things that we want to try to break. Maybe our addictions to social media or maybe overeating or any of these things that it's typically attributed to a negative. And I totally get that. I understand that. And the reason why this podcast came about, the reason why I've been really thinking about this is because I've been listening to a lot of people in a lot of different fields. So I've been listening to some different interviews, and they're all somewhat quirky individuals. Now, I think I'm a somewhat quirky individual myself as well. And what I found is that many of these people have addictive personalities. Some of them in the past have been addicted to alcohol, or again, you can just choose your addiction. I don't have to go through them all, right? But what many of them found is that they were able to channel that addictive personality and put it either into work or art or writing or whatever you want to call it. And they've done some really amazing things with their life. So what I want to share with you is sometimes we do have these quirks about us. We do have a little bit more of an addictive personality. We tend to get a little bit too deep in things and not always the healthiest choice for us. I definitely think I'm that type of person. Now, without a doubt, I think that I can get fixated on one specific thing. And I just know myself too, and that's why we don't keep these things in the house. If there's ice cream in the house or there are cookies or whatever it might be, I'm going to eat them. There's no doubt about it. Now, I can use my willpower to prevent me from doing that. There's no doubt about it. But do I really want to look at those things and not eat them? No, we just don't keep them in the house. Like that's the easiest way. And we want those things, okay, we bring them into the house. Now, I have found this as well, is that if I keep them in the house, they are there for whatever reason, and I don't have them, I don't have that same craving. But once I have them once, well, that sets off the dopamine, neurotransmitters in the brain, and I start to say, oh, it'd be nice if I had more of those the next night. So for me, I try to keep things pretty regimented. I just know how my mind works. I also know, again, with anything, projects, whatever it might be, I tend to go all in. And so for me, I'm very careful about how much I say yes to and what I actually take up. No better, I think, example for me is way back in the day, I used to be into video games. And I was into them all throughout like my younger years and somewhat through high school as well, although sports then became my new healthy addiction. And so I would be dedicated to being outside my house, even, during the winter time, like cold weather in Massachusetts, and playing basketball, like literally outside, or I'd be running outside, or like any of these things. And then I got injured. Okay, I couldn't do those things, so I took up weightlifting, and I kind of became addicted to that, a healthy addiction. I didn't overdo it, but I would do that, and it would replace, though, the whole video game thing. And I was very careful never to get into that in college because I knew that once I started on a video game, I had to learn the ins and outs. I had to learn how to, win. I had to learn how to beat the actual video game. And so that was very, very interesting for me. So then in college, well, I got into, what do I need to do? I need to do well in school. Like that was it. Like I had to do well. That was it. And then I enjoyed myself with my friends on the weekend, but really Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday night, I was not going out. There was not that. I was focused on my school, focused on what I needed to do, and then just say, okay, now what's that reward? Oh, the reward is you're going out with your friends, this weekend. So what I'm saying, at least for me, and I know that there are many people in this health-based field who have a little bit of that all-in mentality and a little bit of that addiction where if they weren't focused on their health, well, it could lead them to really doing more unhealthy things, we'll say, with their time and with their habits and behaviors. So for me, when I'm thinking about this, I'm saying, listen, if I have an addictive personality and I could, really be all in something and maybe overdo things as well, is that I'm going to try to focus my mind then on what's best for my body and my mind in terms of health. So I'm going to give you 7 healthy habits that I just think that they'll benefit everyone. So whether you have that addictive personality or not, no doubt about it, these habits are going to help, I think, propel you in any area of your life. The first one is this: waking up early. Now, I've tried the whole wake up at 4 a.m. I've tried the whole wake up at 4:30 a.m. Not for me. It's too early, all right? For some people, might work fantastic. Great. The problem is this: in order to be a healthy human being, you really need to get 7 hours minimum per night. The studies are in, the research is in, 7 to 9 hours a night. Not everybody needs 8 to 9 hours, but you really do need at least 7. You're gonna see it creep up on you. It's so difficult to get enough deep sleep and REM sleep if you're only sleeping 6 hours. So if you're not tracking your sleep, definitely track that. But the truth is this: when you look at your hormones, so I study I really study bioregulatory medicine and the autonomic nervous system. So I'm a huge advocate of just understanding how the human body works. When you look at it, think of it this way: your thyroid hormones get really activated around 4 a.m. or so. So 3:30, 4 a.m., great. But cortisol, the natural rise in when we would wake up, somewhere around 6 to 8 a.m. Now, it can be earlier, but it really coincides with seasons and when the sun starts to rise. So certainly during the summertime, late spring into early fall, getting up at 5, yeah, you're getting up with when the sun is typically rising. So there is a little bit of play to that. But for most people, getting up around 6 a.m., 7 a.m., this can be perfect for most people. And plus, then you don't need to go to bed so early the night before. So for me, I've tried going to bed at 9 o'clock. It's just too early for me. It really is. Now that my daughters are a little older, they're not going to bed until about 8 o'clock themselves. Realistically, we start the whole bedtime routine at like 7:30. But, they're up and they're down and, they're kids. And so, by the time they're in bed, it's 8 o'clock. So I could go to bed an hour later, right, if I wanted to. But no, I want a little bit of downtime. I want a little relaxation time with my wife as well. So for me, 9:30, 10 o'clock, I can't see myself really getting to bed before 9:30, but I certainly try for it. So then I can sleep to then 5:30, right? So that's going to work well. So the whole thing is this: whatever early is for you, just try to wake up a little bit earlier. Why? Because the time doesn't matter. The time is to actually give yourself back 30 to 60 minutes. So let's say you don't have kids. Let's say you're not off to school, or you are off to school or work. Okay, if you don't need to leave your house until 8 o'clock, then you may not need to wake up. Maybe it takes you a half hour to get ready. All right. So let's say you wake up at 5:30, okay? Or no, you don't need to wake up at 5:30. You wake up at 6:30. You get ready. You're done getting ready at 7. You have an hour now to yourself. Right? So think about that. Really think about that 30 to 60 minutes, and you might not be able to take back an hour. But how I look at it is this: my daughters, my family, they're up by 7 o'clock at the latest. The latest I can sleep in is till 6. That's all. So I get up between 5:30 and 6. My body naturally wakes up between that time. If not, I have a wake light that wakes me up with light instead of alarm. So that's that. And my body will wake up naturally during that time. But that gives me back then this part 2. So second healthy habit, 30 minutes a day of learning. And it's also part motivational. So if I'm learning, I'm growing. If I'm growing, I'm motivated to do more, achieve more, be more, all of those things. So for the first 30 minutes of my day, it's learning. So every day I read it for an hour, but I don't do it during this time. So I recommend for everybody 30 minutes a day of reading. That's bottom line. And like from a real book. And so that's only 10 pages total a day. That's it. I mean, that's how much you're reading basically for most people in 30 minutes. Some people are overachievers and they might read 30 pages in 30 minutes, but for most people, they're going to read about 10 pages. Why that's fantastic? You're going to read a book a month. Most people don't read 12 books in a year. Maybe you'd have, that's fantastic. Maybe you haven't, but I'm telling you right now, purchase 3 books that you now have sitting on your desk, countertop, whatever, beside your bed. And you see those there. You can read them before bed, or you can read them when you wake up. I've told people before, 3 pages upon waking, 3 pages at lunch, 3 pages before bed, give or take, you're at 10 pages a day. You're at a book a month. I'm telling you right now, especially like if you're an IHP, integrative health practitioner, or you're someone in the health field, and you choose one topic. So I'm just going to learn about digestion this year because I want to be an expert by the end of the year. Great. You might take like my digestion course. You might read 10, 12 books on digestion. Trust me, you're an expert in that space. There's no doubt about it. Like you have a big knowledge base on that. So, that's what I recommend, and it's phenomenal. But you can do it in any area. So let's just say you're trying to overcome anxiety or depression or PTSD, or you're working on mindset. You might be listening to podcasts. You might be listening to an audiobook during that time, but it's something to expand your mind. Again, let's just say you are trying to study to become a personal trainer or a yoga instructor. Okay, you can use that time. Like it's a growth-based time. You can do it 30 minutes upon waking or get ready for the day and then start. I do it as I'm actually getting ready for that first 30 minutes. So for me, again, I do my hour of reading later in the day. A lot of times it is research-based. For the first 30 minutes, it's motivational-based. It could be a motivation in any area of my life that I'm looking for at that time, and that's what I use that for. So that for me is the audio part, getting motivated through video. Oftentimes it's video and audio, sometimes just audio, but I'm a pretty visual person, and it connects better in my mind with that video as well. So that's that. The one book a month, again, I'm big on, but use that 30 minutes a day. And that's if you wake up earlier and you wake up 30 minutes before you need to leave or do whatever it is, your responsibilities for the family in the morning, just wake up 30 minutes earlier. I'm telling you right now, then you get that time to yourself. You're growing, you're learning, you're going to feel so much more satisfied as well at the end of each day. All right. The third healthy habit is this: block off 30 to 60 minutes every single day to move your body. Okay, we exercised our mind for 30 minutes upon waking, right? So we exercised our mind. Now let's exercise our body. Phenomenal if you can do this. Excuse me, losing my voice today. So let's look at it this way. If you can take the first 30 minutes for your mind and the next 30 minutes for your body, you're going to be doing phenomenal. Like that is an unbelievable way to start your day. So again, let's use the example. Let's say you have to leave the house at 8 o'clock. You wake up at 6:30, okay? Let's just say right at 6:30, you are going to be reading, learning, educating yourself from 6:30 to 7. From 7 to 7:30, you're working out. Choose whatever workout your heart desires, like anything at all. Move that body. HIIT training, body weight training, kettlebell training, cardio, doesn't matter. Move that body, right? That's it. They can always get more advanced after that. Okay, then at 7:30, 7:30 to 8, that you get ready for the day. I'm telling you right now, just try this for 21 days. If you do that, your happiness is going to skyrocket. And the reason is this: you're growing in your mind and you are optimizing your body. You can't help but feel better. You've already had a day. Like I do this, all the time. Like by the time you start your day, you've already had a day. You've had an hour of educating the mind and the body. And you probably most people haven't done that before. It's such a phenomenal day. It's a phenomenal way to start the day. I can't imagine a better way. So I'm telling you right now, check that off, look at it. Even if you're not able to do that, here's what I do. So again, like my morning is mindset. So it's putting myself in the right position. I have to do that. I oversee 3 different health companies. I'm speaking on calls hours a day. I'm in meetings hours a day. I'm reading over labs hours a day. I'm reading research. I'm recording podcasts. I'm recording programs for IHP. So it's a big day. So all I have to do is I can do it. Like I've kind of built that muscle to be able to do it. But the only thing that would hold me back is not being in the right mindset. So if I'm tired, if I'm groggy, like any of those things, I have to just get myself in that right mindset. Because every once in a while, like once a month, I'll wake up, and it does happen, like once a month, maybe twice, I'll wake up and I'm like, it's just, I didn't get enough sleep, or this is happening, or I'm stressed, like whatever it might be. The problem is I still have to get the work done. Right? I still have to get it done. So I need to put myself and prime myself in that right mindset in order to make sure it does get done, no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling. Really, really important that you work on that discipline-based muscle. All right. So one more thing I wanted to share with you, because I do this, but also a lot of other people do. I kind of get to make my own schedule, but my schedule is packed from, so I make it, but it's packed from sun up, to sundown. And I like it that way. Again, I chose this, right? This is what I choose to do, doing things that I love. And I want to do a lot of that. And so now though, from 8 to 9 in the morning, those are my calls with my team leaders kick off. And I'm walking during that time from 8 to 9 o'clock. At least 45 minutes of that, I'm actually walking and talking. I don't need to be at a computer. So that's how I'm getting in, though, those extra 5,000 steps that'll lead me to my 10,000 steps for the day. So that's my movement. Okay, I just want to share with you, that's built in. And my team knows, like, I'm doing my walking and talking that day, but it's not just me. So my brother-in-law, who's in a corporate office, so in a regular office, does his calls when he has to do his calls, walking and talking. And he gets in his steps, and he gets in way more steps than me because he does a whole lot more calls. So it's interesting, but take a look at that as well. That might be something that you're able to add as well to get in your steps. All right, but it's all about scheduling. Again, I schedule that. I have 2 team members, 8 o'clock to 8:30, 8:30 to 9 o'clock every single day. I have 10 of those strategic calls per week. It's phenomenal. It works great. I love being able to check in with my team. We talk shop. We're saying, hey, what can we do? How can we help this group of people, whatever it might be. And then I have my workout later in the day for 30 minutes for weight training. So that is that. All right, the fourth one is this, a simple diet. I'm telling you, all of these things right now, I'm focused on. Obviously, my job is health. Like, that's what I do, help people with wellness, with weight, with anti-aging. But it's the thing is, you can't make the food you eat your entire life. I think that's where people get hung up. You eat nutritious foods that grow on you to be delicious, and then you allow the delicious meals that you want to be part of your overall like lifestyle. So once or twice a week, I have a flex meal, cheat meal, whatever you want to call it, and a dessert, okay? Dessert's typically once a week, because I love dessert, and flex meal once or twice a week. That's it. Like, that's how I keep it. And everything else is super simple. So like, literally I wake up and have the same breakfast almost every morning. It's a variation of a smoothie. Like, that's it. I'm nothing crazy. Like, that's all that I'm doing. Put my daily nutritional support in, put my advanced collagen in, put everything that I want in that shake. That's my nutrition. Easy to digest, doesn't take any of my energy, fuels me for the entire morning. Lunch and dinner, I'm telling you right now, don't overthink this. Pick a fish, meat, or plant-based protein. A protein, 2 vegetables, a starch if you're someone that loses weight more easily, more of the ectomorph or Vata body type, or you're athletic, you do a lot of working out, or you need it, right, for keeping the weight on. And then a healthy fat, which for most people is either avocado or olive oil. It's simple. So like, I don't have to overthink this. I'm like, okay, today I'm having a piece of salmon, and I have cauliflower, and I have broccoli, and I always have the frozen variety, so if I need that, it's there. And then after I cook it, and for me, typically I'm doing some starch, I'm just active, and body type as well. And then I add olive oil to it. Like, that's it. Again, I think we tend to get a little bit too caught up in like, oh, what are we going to cook tonight? What are we going to do this? Keep it simple. Go through your plant-based proteins or your animal-based proteins or your fish or your eggs, and whatever works for you, do that. Keep it simple. Try to vary things in terms of your vegetables if needed. But again, every day I'm eating broccoli. Like, it's not, and then yes, different things at dinner, but keep things simple. Don't let food rule your life, okay? You get to choose your foods, make them healthy. They are fuel for your body, okay? Don't get overwhelmed with all the different choices. Keep it simple. The longest lived people in the world were predominantly plant-based. Doesn't mean you can't eat meat. I'm not saying that at all. I eat meat. And the other thing, though, is that they ate simple meals. They only ate 3 times a day for the most part. Didn't do a whole lot of snacking. Kept blood sugar regulated. Again, if you only want to do 2 meals a day, easy, then do 2 meals a day. But the other part of it is this, is their diets didn't vary widely. Like, they weren't eating, 1,000 different types of foods. Like, they kept things pretty simple. And I've talked about this before in many other podcasts, all right? The fifth one is this, find quiet for 20 minutes a day. This is one that's going to be new for a lot of people. I don't think that people sit enough with themselves in quiet and thinking. You could call it meditation if you want. You can meditate. You could go for a walk with nothing. Don't listen to anything, just quiet, right? I love walking. I love going to nature if possible. Sometimes just sitting in my sauna. It's nothing. It's just quiet. And you want to see what pops up in your head. Like, that's really important. It's going to be the things that you're looking forward to, or you're anxious about, or you're worried about. Like, listen to what comes up, because those are the loops that are playing in the background. If you just listen, quiet your mind, and allow the thoughts to come, one, you're going to understand, you're going to become more self-aware of what worries you or what you're looking forward to. The second is that you're going to learn to understand that they're just thoughts, that you are going to be able to, in time, get control of those thoughts. Not 100% control, but a lot, 90+%. And so this is really important. So walking, meditating, just sitting in silence, allowing yourself to think, and maybe even in the sauna or as well. All right, number 6 is this. Writing down your goals, okay, really important, very important, right, as you're creating your 12-week year. And reviewing, though, the night before, your schedule for the next day. Here's why I do this. One, and I do it at the end of the day, so I don't even do it right before bed. I do it at the end of the day before I finish up for the day around 5:30 or so. So I am getting off my mind everything that I'm worried about for the next day. Oh, I've got to do this, I have this meeting. Okay, remember, I don't do a to-do list. A lot of people teach you about a to-do list. I did a podcast called Throw Away Your To-Do List and Do This Instead. Definitely check out that podcast. I look at my calendar. I look at my schedule. And I'm like, okay, done. Okay, I need to put notes in there. Great, I put the notes in. And then everything is off of my mind, right? So I take everything that's on the mind, dump it onto the calendar, done. And now you don't have to worry about it, right? Because your mind holds on to things and tells you to continue to think about them and worry about them. Why? It's worried that you'll forget. Write them down. If you have a desk, put a note on your desk if you'd like. Now your mind does not have to worry. It doesn't have to remember it anymore. That's why I think I can sleep well each and every night. I used to have the issue with a restless mind. I write it down. I take my nutritional supplements as well, but I write it down. I calm my mind. I get into just a relax, not even just before bed. I want to be relaxed when I'm done for the day. So actually it's before my workout as well. So I'll do my workout. I'm already written down what needs to be done for the day. Maybe I'll review it. And then after that, it's family time. Like that's it. And so family time, I'm not thinking about what else I have to do tomorrow. I already wrote it down. Today is done, right? Maybe I'll check in with my team a little later just to see everything's good. That's it. Like it's done. So I definitely invite you to do that. Write down what you need to do the night before going to bed. Get it off your minds. The last one is this. Go to bed before 10 p.m. Unless you are working an evening shift or something like that for work, go to bed before 10. Honestly, forget about what all the gurus, some gurus are trying to tell you that there's different types of people who do better, this, that, and the other thing. I'm telling you there's not. The human body, and I can just show you, and I wrote about it in the rain barrel effect, the human body is meant to produce cortisol between 6 and 8 in the morning. That's when it ramps up. Cortisol awakening response. It's supposed to do that with the sunlight, okay? The rising sun. Guess what? Cortisol is at its lowest about 2 hours or so after sunset, okay? Typically around 9 to 10 p.m. at night. Usually somewhere around 9:30, like if we average the seasons, okay? Sun setting, somewhere around 7. That's it. Like we have to understand is that we are meant to be in unison with nature. Anyone who is out of unison with nature are more prone to disease, right? And they typically die at a younger age. We know this. People who work overnight spike cortisol overnight, spike dopamine overnight with all these projects. Oh, I'm a night owl, all these things. No. Like there's that you might feel that way because you like that dopamine surge at night. You get a second wind after 10 o'clock because cortisol goes from being at its lowest to slightly higher. You have to understand this. I thought all of these things too when I was younger. They're just not true. The studies will show you that if you are awake during night hours, dark hours, and you are asleep during light hours, you'll live on average 5 to 7 years less. Again, like we have to understand is like you're more prone to heart disease, you're more prone to Alzheimer's because you are producing cortisol at the wrong times of the day. Really important to look at that. So again, I worked a little later at night when I was younger. You do your best with what you can. That's it. You do your best with what you can. So if you have to work the night shift, you have to work the night shift. And so what I would say is this though, if you're able to, you get to bed between 9 and 10. That easily then allows you to wake up by 5 to 6, 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. And if you can do that, then you can start to institute everything that I just spoke about. 30 minutes for the mind, 30 minutes for the body. Like you've already set up your day if you get to bed earlier the night before. So again, it's one of my highest recommendations. I can't get to bed at 9. Now, could I? Yes. So like, I don't want to say I can't. I could. I choose not to go to bed at 9 p.m. I think it's too early for me. I still want quality time with my family, with my wife. I don't want to feel rushed to get to bed. And so for me, I can say, okay, around 9:30, that's going to be bedtime. And then if it happens not till 10, okay, fine. But I'm still going to be able to get 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep each and every night. I'm still going to be able to stay with my routine. My body's healthy. I get enough deep sleep. I get enough REM sleep. And that's how I set up my day. So, what I want to share with you is this. This might have sounded like a lot, but I know you're busy. I'm busy. I think that we as humans, and I have a podcast called Missing 6 Hours Per Day. I would love you to listen to that as well at stephencabral.com/podcasts, is that we don't need a lot more time to ourselves, but we need a little bit to be our best. So if we get 30 minutes for the mind, we get about 30 minutes for the body, we get, let's say, 30 minutes for the quiet and the maybe even, I already put in the education there, but for additional time to yourself, it's 90 minutes total. So 60 to 90 minutes a day. That's realistic. It really is, because you could do your sauna, your quiet time alone. I think that 90 minutes, if you could do it. Now, it doesn't have to all be at once. Could be 60 minutes in the morning by waking up earlier, right? Going to bed earlier. Or it could be 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes around lunch, and 30 minutes before bed. Maybe you do your quiet and sauna before bed. Maybe you do your exercise in the morning. Maybe at lunch, that's when you do your education. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how to set up your schedule. I've done many different schedules over the years, but what I can tell you is this, is that if you start to just take back a little bit more control over your day, create maybe 7 healthy habits like we just did here, maybe even just a few to start, and you create more healthy addictions, meaning like these are things that you're actually addicted to doing. And I know I am. Getting to bed earlier. Why? I don't love going to bed earlier, but I love waking up earlier. If you wake up earlier, you get some of your own quiet alone time. You start to work on the mind. You start to set up your day. These are all things that I think that inspires us to grow as individuals. And if we're growing, I just think that that leads to a greater sense of purpose, passion, and happiness. Hopefully today's show was helpful. Thanks so much for tuning into this Mindset and Motivation Monday. I appreciate you being a part of this community. As always, if this was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.